Right, it's the last Saturday of March 2011 and it's a sunny day, and I just want to make the first of what I'm going to call orchard makeover, or probably cider orchard makeover, which I hope to put up over the next 4 or 5 years, although no one knows what the future holds. Now, you might not like to see what I'm showing you here, which is to say considerable amount of apple wood, which indicates trees have been cut down. Well, trees are plants and plants come and go, and the important thing is not that an individual is cut down and carefully sawn up to the right size to be used as firewood next winter, or preferably the winter afterwards. But the essential thing is that the orchard itself continues. And what I'm doing here, I'll show you. I'll just sort of stand in the middle of this little area and sort of pan around so you can see what I'm doing. This is the Mincingfield Lane end of the orchard, and it has been very radically cut. Here we did have we had a double row here of an apple called Ribston Pippin. I've sawn down half of these. Now, these stumps need to be removed. I've been very busy with lots of other things and this hasn't been done yet. Hopefully it will be done over the next few weeks. I'm taking some annual leave in May to catch up with jobs that haven't been done. Now, these have been thinned out. They were too close together. It's just 9 feet apart. They really needed 15 feet apart. I didn't know that. I know it now. They spread very widely. It's going to make it easier for me to prune these. Here was a row of Eggemont russet. It broke my heart to cut them down because they were such lovely trees. But again, they fruited their socks off. They did ever so well for us. We've got new plantation of Eggemont russet elsewhere. They're doing all right. So these now, Ribston Pippins, which have been very vigorous growing trees, they're going to have all the room they want. They're going to have loads and loads more room. It's going to be easier for us to work around here. And what we've got here is those Bramleys that have been cut down. Now, so these ones I cut down a year ago, and they've, or was it 2 years? I cut these down and they've sent up loads of shoots. I've been thinning them out. I'm going to graft on these. At the end of this particular row, there is a Bramley which I've been using as a demonstration, and that I will continue to grow. I'll put a few videos up about this particular Bramley here. You may recall it. Put a video up cutting out a number of the whip growths, so these water shoots that shot up, and they've grown very strong and big, and they've got lots of fruit buds on them. There's going to be some fruit on this year. This is a very badly misshapen tree. It's a wreck, and one of the certainly the top 10 questions I ever get asked is I have obtained or inherited a really neglected old wreckage of a tree. Is there anything I can do with it? And yeah, there often is, depending on how much vigour and health and life there is in the tree. Even if it's a really bizarre shape, there's often a lot you can do. And again, I don't want to go over what I've done to this particular tree again, except to say I will show you through the year. These are some interplants. These are pollinators. These are coming out. But what I'm going to do, this looks brutal. This is what was done to these trees a couple of years ago. These have sent lots of shoots up, and they're going to be grafted on. I'm going to graft onto these. These were Bramley. Nothing wrong with Bramley. Well, actually, that isn't quite true. There's quite a lot wrong with Bramley. It's a great apple. But last year we grew the best Bramleys we've ever grown. We could not sell them. We were bringing them back to the market. We discounted them. We put them on prominent display. We sold them. We offered them for sale at an incredibly low price. He was, oh, nice Bramleys. I've got some. I don't need any. And so in the end, most of the Bramleys, from the sort of 30 odd Bramleys we've got down here, most of them rotted on the ground. We didn't even pick them. And it's not a heritage. It is a heritage apple, but it's not rare. So we made a hard decision. We've sawn them all down. We're going to graft them over to cider apples. Now, this is a cider apple, variety Yarlington Mill. Big trees, big, mature, attractive trees that don't need a lot of care don't need a lot of attention, and that's a bit of lichen growing there. Quite widely spaced. This one's called Bramley's bitter, it's biennial. There was no fruit on it last year. Massive crop previous year. This year I think there's going to be a massive crop. Very attractive trees, widely spaced. They don't need a lot of looking after. So what we're going to do, this sort of 1/4 of an acre section down here, we're going to transform this over. That's why I say it's a cider orchard makeover. We're removing a lot of the small odd little varieties like the Devonshire Quarrendon and the Baker's Delicious. We'll maybe move them to another heritage apple version, part of the orchard rather. And what we'll eventually do here is that these trees, which are sort of a good sort of 17 feet, 16 feet tall and quite widely spaced, we're going to graft these over. I'll show you this operation when I'm doing it, which will be quite soon. This particular one is actually such a mess, but what I'm probably going to do, see this shoot here, what I'm probably going to do is saw it off there and put a graft onto this and see what happens, and that will be an interesting experiment to watch. I'll give you the opportunity to have a smile if I get it wrong. We'll see. But these other ones, like this chappie here, or this lady here I should say, what I'll do, I'll graft onto there, graft onto there, graft onto there, graft onto there and there, and that's sort of top working this over. And if that works, well, I hope it'll be an interesting example, I hope it will work, an interesting example of what you can do if you inherit a big old post-mature orchard and the trees are the wrong variety, or it's just all too raggedy and messy and not holy, and you want to cut it down hard and renew the tree by letting new strong growth. Because look, this is a little bit aged and tatty and knocked about a bit, but when you cut back hard, vigorous, strong, clean, young, new wood. Now I can graft onto that, and I'm going to graft over, to improve my cider blend, I need more bitter, sharp apples, and I'm going to graft Foxwood Broxwhelp, no, I always get it wrong, Broxwood Foxwhelp, and Somerset Red Streak, and a few others. So this will complement the peri pear orchard I've planted.